What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. In this video, we're going to be talking about some things that happened yesterday over social media over at the stabmovies.com Facebook page. Now, if you're not familiar with that, Stab Movies is basically what it is. It's Stab Movies. It's the in reality fan film collection of the in Scream movies that are based on the events in Scream. I know that whole type of message I just went through was miscombobulated and might sound confusing, but if you are familiar with these projects, you know what I'm talking about. The Stab films in our reality are fan films. In the Scream universe, they're actual Hollywood production films based on the events that occur in our movies, the Scream movies. So the Stab fan films, they have been told to stop using the Ghostface mask. They've been told to stop using it in their upcoming production of this Stab fan film reboot they had going on. Now, of course, I believe a lot of us are aware of this. Fun World holds the rights to this mask, the Ghostface mask, and I believe the reason they have done this is because Spyglass Media has gotten involved with them. They're doing some contracts with Spyglass Media in preparations for Scream 5, and perhaps in these contracts, in this new contract they have up with this new studio, which I'm assuming is Spyglass Media, Spyglass Media does not want the Scream mask or the likeness of the Ghostface character to be used in any type of parody films. Possibly won't even be used in any upcoming revivals if MTV decided they want to come out with a season 4 or a season 5 of that decent show that they had going on for them. Season 3 of that Scream TV series is absolutely abysmal, but I'm glad they brought back the original costume, and Roger L. Jackson got to utilize his vocal cords again in the role of Ghostface. That was pretty much the only redeeming qualities about Scream Season 3. But I'll go over what essentially what the stabmovies.com Facebook page had to say about this. Basically, they said, in heartbreaking news, Fun World has shut down production on the Stab reboot. They messaged us today saying, in quotations, much has changed over the past few years. Contractually, we cannot authorize the use of the mask in this new film. There is much legally involved with a new studio. Please stop your plans for the new film. Sorry for this news, but much is happening. So based off of that, I'm assuming Fun World told the Stab fan films to stop using the likeness of this Ghostface and stop using this mask. Stop using this mask altogether is because of the fact that Spyglass Media is gearing up to have Scream 5 come out, and perhaps this new contract that Fun World has with Spyglass Media, because as I just mentioned, they mentioned something about a new studio being in the works, and there's much legally involved with the new studio. So they asked them to please stop their plans for this new film to continue using this mask. Spyglass Media might have some contractual details they have with this Fun World company, where the Ghostface character and Ghostface mask should not, let's just say it's the mask. I'll just go with the mask. The mask itself cannot be used in any type of non-official production. So fan films are out. Anything that's not directly tied to the Scream property that is dealing with Spyglass, while they have this deal with Fun World, I don't think it's going to be allowed for that mask to be used. So again, MTV is not going to be making any Scream TV series with this mask being used. They're going to have to revert back to that Brandon James mask. And unfortunately, fans of these Stab fan films, if you guys are fans of these fan films, I'm definitely sorry to bring this heartbreaking news to you, but that's essentially the only thing I could come up with as to why they are no longer being allowed to use this mask. And when Fun World is talking about a new studio is involved, pretty confident it has to do with Scream 5 and Spyglass Media being that studio that they have not specifically named. They just said a new studio is involved. So speaking to a new studio, the last studio that we know was responsible for the Scream series was Dimension Films. But I believe the only reason that the only reason the VH1's third season of Scream got to use that mask, because I believe at the time Dimension Films was no longer a thing, and of course the rights to the Scream property were up in the air, and perhaps some type of deal got worked out with Fun World and that little one season they had with season they did on VH1. Something possibly, of course, got worked out for them to be able to use that mask, because they couldn't use it during Scream season 1 and 2 for contractual obligation reasons and legal reasons, I believe, since Dimension Films was kind of still a thing at the time. But now Spyglass Media, with Scream 5 coming out, they're not going to be able to use this mask anymore. So I don't know what that's going to do to these fan films. I don't know how that's going to really affect it. But what that also tells me is that we can look forward to Ghostface keeping the same appearance that we all have come to know and just be familiar with when it comes to the Ghostface character. He's going to have this same mask. He's going to have the same black coat, looking like the Grim Reaper essentially, and minus the scythe. And we're gonna have the same Ghostface that we all know and love. Now, what I will also say is that I'd like them to tweak this a bit. I know they're gonna be using it's pretty much all but confirmed by this, because again, I'm just assuming that this new studio that they're referring to, it has to be Spyglass Media, and it has to be the fact that these fan films got shut down and told not to use this mask. It has to be because of the upcoming Scream 5 is about to start shooting this fall in North Carolina. What I'd like to see done with this mask is, I know when Scream 4, around the time Scream 4 was coming out, there were rumors and rumblings that they were going to use some type of weathered mask where it was like a decrepit mask, almost to the style of, let's say, how in Rob Zombie's Halloween, Michael Myers, when he goes back home, he digs up in the floorboards and he pulls out this old dirty mask from when he was a kid, and that's of course the Michael Myers mask, but it's just old and dirty and worn out because it's been underneath the floorboards for 15 plus years. I don't necessarily think they have to make it that weathered, but show some type of a Ghostface mask where there's some type of scarring on it. I think that would be badass. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Something different, something fresh. I believe back when Scream 4 was coming out, there was actually talks and just pictures going around of Ghostface appearing as a scarecrow. I don't know if you guys remember that, but back when Scream 4 was coming out, there was like a plethora of different things getting tossed around about the costume, about the new appearance that could possibly be done. But then of course we know we got the same old Ghostface that we all are very familiar with. So I'm hoping we get the same thing, but add some few tweaks to the mask, make it a little bit more scarier, a little bit more menacing, just make it dirty, a little bit dirty. But yes, I'm really looking forward to seeing, and I'm glad that Spyglass is basically going to be using the same Ghostface costume, the same mask. Only thing we need now is, of course, to know if we're going to have our leading lady, Neve Campbell, back as Sidney Prescott. We do need to also know if Courteney Cox will be back as Gale Weathers. We need to know what the story is going to be. Still do not know whether or not this is going to be a sequel or whether or not it's going to follow a new set of characters, being a soft reboot, of course, telling a different story in a different town. Maybe it's the same town of Woodsboro, it's just that Sidney is no longer the focus of the story. She's just going to return to town because she feels that she could be of use to help solve what's going on, even though it has nothing to do with her anymore. But that's something that, of course, we'll all find out over the course of these upcoming weeks during the summer. Perhaps find out if Hayden Panettiere will be back. Find out if Cole Sprouse, Lily Reinhart, Selena Gomez, everybody that we've talked about on this channel, and people have just been making rumblings on Twitter about all this stuff. They did actually follow Roger L. Jackson on Twitter. The directors Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillett, they did follow Roger L. Jackson on Twitter, so perhaps that's a sign that some type of negotiations are going on. Everybody's really honing in on the fact that that might be a key, that they're negotiating with certain people, because of the fact that we now know at least that with David Arquette, that ended up being true, because now we know he's going to be in the film. So we just have to wait and see if that was the case with Selena Gomez, with Cole Sprouse, with Lily Reinhart. But the fact that these Stat fan films won't be able to use this mask, I know that's going to be a setback for them. So hopefully they can overcome this. But again, the good news here is that this tells me Spyglass plans on using the same mask, the same costume. Ghostface will not be appearing in some new type of, at that point it wouldn't even be Ghostface. It's just glad to know we're going to have a Scream film where the killer is going to be the same thing that we're very familiar with. It's not going to be a Brandon James scenario. It's not going to be something where it's Scream 5, but Ghostface is no longer a factor. We have somebody walking around in just a black hoodie and just some black sweatpants or something, looking like A from Pretty Little Liars. But let me know what you all think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links on my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know if there's any movies, news, or reviews you would like me to cover in the future. With all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.